Hi, everyone. Do you think of thrifting as a spiritual practice? I definitely do. I love exploring charity shops and thrift stores all around the world. And if you do, I've got a conversation today about how there's a spiritual relationship between the way that we see our lives, our relationship to stuff, and the art of thrifting. My name is Margaret Manning. I'm with 60andMe, and I want to thank you so much for being here today. Our show today is brought to you by See Me Beauty. See Me Beauty products are for women who are really tired of unrealistic promises and expectations about skincare products. These are products that are designed by women over 50. They understand the aging skin process, and these products are made with natural ingredients so that your skin can be hydrated and healthy and radiant. That is their mission. So check them out at seemebeauty.com. So, thrifting, that's another way to take care of yourself and nourish yourself, I am convinced. And one of our bloggers, Nicole Christina, wrote an article that I just loved reading because it so much resonated with my own thinking about the power of thrifting to redefine the way that we buy things, the way that we recycle and use things, and also the cultural and spiritual, the mindfulness experience that you get from finding treasures in unexpected places. Now, I am a thrifter. I have been for a long time. I love going to charity shops when I go to the UK. In the States, I think they have the consignment stores and thrift shops, but and the Salvation Army, of course. And Nicole Christine is a big fan of what she calls the salvo, and I think that's where we find these things. But even when I was on a cruise in Norway, I got to the very far north part of the country in Kirkenes. The bus took us into town so that we could have a look around the shops and experience the place. And I found a thrift store, and so did a lot of other people. And we went in there and we just had such a great time. I think I bought a couple of tops and nothing dramatic, but it was such a neat experience to see things that other people had found that were treasures and then recycled them, pass them on. And there was kind of a vintage tone to it too. So there was a lot from the 60s, 70s, and knee-high boots. It was really fun. So there's even an app for this. In the US, you've got I think it's called, I make sure I get this right, the thriftshopper.com, and that's got thrift stores all over the country, so you can explore wherever you are. And I think especially after this coronavirus moment that we've had, this great pause to discover what's really, really important to us and the things that we love or we don't even need to buy anymore, how to make do. I think it's really, really been helpful. And by the way, there's lots of people who have spent some time during this COVID-19 lockdown to sort out their clothes and to put into categories things they don't want anymore. So when the thrift stores do open, there's going to be some amazing bargains, and not just bargains, but treasures for you to find. So Nicole says that this process of thrifting speaks to her soul. And I totally get that. It's a cultural experience for her as much as it is a fun shopping excursion. And it's a chance, she says, to explore her creativity. And I love this when you go into a shop and you see something and it hones in exactly with something that you love, a color, a tone, a pattern. You know that you can then do something with it. Now, for example, I've got a few things I'm going to show you that I purchased at thrift stores. For one thing, I purchased this necklace. I purchased this beautiful crystal necklace. It was so inexpensive. The woman handed it to me and she said, "Oh, it's just plastic." And it wasn't. It's actually a crystal necklace. And anyway, it's beautiful. And I got little matching earrings to go with that if I could find them. But the earrings are really pretty too. And that set was like $3. But for some reason, the crystals, it just all spoke to me. It was just my style. It was my personality shone through, and I was happy to find. I also found this scarf. And this scarf, as I think I mentioned in other videos, if I can get the right way around, is a Ted Baker scarf. It's beautiful. I found it it was in a thrift store, and it was on a pile of scarves. And I just was like digging through, and I saw that color tone, the moody, dark florals. I said, I want that I can do something with that. So as Nicole says, you can be creative in this ability to find things that aren't too expensive. You can actually, maybe make a skirt out of a dress or a scarf out of something that, it doesn't fit you, but you love the pattern or the colors. So that's a good thing. It's a treasure hunt. And actually, it is very good for the environment. that you're recycling things that other people have decided they no longer want. I've got a few more things I'm going to show you in a second, but those are just a couple of examples. Now, I think that another thing that Nicole says, which I really love, is this sort of you can be a minimalist and also be a thrifter. So you can gather new things, accumulate, but at the same time, she says she carries her own bag. So do I. I have a shopping bag. I've recycled it, use it over and over again. And I also choose things that I don't go crazy and buy 10 things. I try to find the ones that really were waiting for me, or I was waiting to find. As I said, it's a treasure hunt. And in her way, she uses it like a meditation. And in the article she wrote, she talks about mindfulness and thrifting as being kind of, this kind of thread that connects each other. Also, she talks about, and I love this idea because I experience it as well, is the cultural aspect. Now, a lot of people go to thrift stores because they're trying to save money. They're trying to clothe their children, or, just don't necessarily have a lot of money to spend on stuff, on not just clothing, on kitchen equipment and dishes and whatever. And so she says it feels like she's surrounded sometimes by different languages, different cultures, different people, and it makes you feel connected. You all need to wear clothes. You all need to have a cup to drink your tea out of, and it's something that brings you together. And I don't know, when I go to my thrift store, I just kind of sometimes just take it all in. I watch the kids playing in the toy section, wanting to buy some toys or a book, and the moms trying to look for clothes that will fit them. Even things like socks, simple things that you might think, oh, who would buy a pair of socks at a thrift store? Sometimes it's really, really valuable for them. And she says it's not like this accumulation mode, but she's a minimalist, and there's that beauty between the two. And I'm definitely in that category. I have downsized my life so much in the last 10 years that I just value every single item. For example, here's another example. I went into a thrift store in our town, and I picked up this mug. It's such a pretty cup. It's actually quite small, but it's a brand that I recognize. It's Pip Studios. It's a known brand. But look at the isn't that pretty? And I found this on the shelf, and I knew immediately that would become one of my 3 or 4 mugs that I've got at my house. I don't have 20 cups anymore. Who needs 20 cups? No tea parties at my house probably for a while, but I do love this little cup, and I use this almost every single day for coffee or something special. And this one I found at a thrift store. It was less than $2, and so that's another example. That just the things you surround yourself with can become. There's a consistency in what you choose. And one other thing that Nicole mentions, which I think is a really interesting one, is she talks about channeling her mom. Now, a lot of women in our community started out life not wealthy. Maybe some of you, and including myself, lived a very austere life as a child. And I remembered my mom always treasuring simple things and sharing and making sure we didn't overindulge, hide the cookies for a special morning. And she said, and Nicole says this, that just being a thrifter reminds her of her mom and reminds her of coming from really nothing and working our way up through life and getting to a better place where, I could buy a cup now that would cost me $10. But why would I do that if I can find this beautiful little cup that I adore and treasure and appreciate someone passing that on? So I think that's a really cool thing. Now, the other thing I want to show you is my purse. I'll show you this. Now, this is one that she talks about rehabilitating things, like finding things at the thrift store that need a little work. And I bought this little bag, and it was really dusty, and it's just a simple cloth bag, but I don't know, it must have, you can see the faux, whatever that is, leather, but it's such a pretty bag, a little lining, or it's a little shoulder purse. And I brought it home, and I had to wash it because it was so dusty. But I'm glad I did. I retrieved it from maybe a trash can, and now I don't use it too much, but in the summer, it's a lightweight, so I probably will use it a lot then. And it's just, again, my house is now full of these little treasures that have a story. And I think that if anything has come from me for the COVID-19 pause, the reflection, the great reflection, is that I only need a few things. I only need a few things. Besides my health, of course, and my family, my friends, my community, I only need, in terms of material possessions, a few things. So maybe you're having that same experience, and maybe giving away some things of your own and going thrifting will fill your soul with a contribution to the world, and you'll be happy to be part of that movement. Now, I know that thrifting is not for everybody, definitely not. But if you're still with me here on this video, you probably are you're one of my tribe, one of my thrifting tribe, who are constantly looking for ways to explore the art of thrifting. So thanks, Nicole, for this article. It inspired me, and I really appreciate everyone who's out there doing their best to simplify, streamline, and enjoy the simple things. That is what it's all about. So what do you think of thrift shopping? Are you a thrifter? What have you found? What have you found that really, really was a surprise that you have treasured? Leave your comments below. I'd love to have a conversation about this. And again, thank you as always for being here. Thank you for being on the journey, whether you're a thrifter or not. Tell us what your experiences have been. It should be a fun conversation. Take good care, everybody. Have a really lovely day, and we'll talk again very soon. Bye for now.